Greetings. Greetings. Name's Uncle V, and let's just get something perfectly clear. I do not wear a gold chain with a Bitcoin on it. Hell no. It's Epic Cash. And this is the Wednesday Epic Cash episode. Let me just make sure that this isn't going to blow us out. Nope. We're doing good. Hey, if you're joining us, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and you're going to like today's show. My guest, Max Freeman, founder of Epic Cash, he's going to be here any minute. He is working on a presentation that has lots of slides to be able to review with you, to be able to discuss both Coinstore and ChangeNow. And I titled this Coinstore and ChangeNow means what exactly for Epic Cash? Well, today we're going to find out. Since our very, very successful community fundraise on Friday, let me make sure. Let's see. Jam is in the house. Hey, Jam, you're kicking butt on Twitter Spaces. Thanks for coming. But after our very successful raise with Coinstore, gosh, how do I put it? We have two great opportunities: ChangeNow and Coinstore. It needs to be a both and, not an either or. But there was some questions raised in the community, and I just kind of wanted to set the table here, okay? Because what can tend to happen is when decisions are made or have been made and people are voting with their pocketbook and such, in many cases, there are those people who come out of the woodwork who are perhaps on the sidelines, perhaps, didn't contribute, maybe never have. And those tend to be the people who, not all cases, but I have to get out my ankle guards so that I don't get bitten too much. But there are people that'll come and basically take a big old steaming dump on anything that we're moving forward with. And this time it was all about why Coinstore. I remember Bitmart, and that was a disaster, and it was. But they are different. And with ChangeNow, my goodness gracious, excuse me, if you can't get excited about our Epic Pay wallet that just has send and receive, but also adding to it buy, sell, and swap, I cannot help you. I cannot help you, but I will help you because I love this community, and I invited Bassam. He is awesome from ChangeNow, and he is going to come on my show Friday, Epic Cash Live, noon Eastern time, and he is going to educate us on ChangeNow and let us know exactly who they are, what they do, looking in his crystal ball, how we're going to integrate and what that's going to mean to our various wallets. I do not think it's limited to Epic Pay. We'll ask Max when he gets on. I think it also, here he comes, speak of Max. I think it always also has to do with our GUI wallets, but we'll ask Max. But what Max has been hard at work doing, because we do listen to you out there, is he has put together a formal presentation for you just for today's show to be able to walk through the logic, all right, let me get the other one in, Max. I see your second one. The logic, the reasoning, and Max, before we hello to your ceiling, Max. Oh, by the way, everybody, we're talking to a wounded warrior here. He got very sick. You can tell it by his very, very, very masculine voice right now. Well, you know what I should do? I mean, fair's fair. If you're going to talk that way,
Right. Well, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is I'm sick. The good news is it sounds worse than it is.
Oh,
But more bad news is that I look worse than I sound. So no video.
Great. Good thing that you're a pseudo, or at least your thumbnail is. So, Max, I was just telling people that you are creating these slides because we have listened to the community. We saw some questions being asked in there. And so instead of just hand waving those, you've been hard at work going through all of those questions and coming together with a presentation that hopefully addresses all of the questions and concerns, or both. And at the same time, would love for you to share with us as you go along. I titled this Coinstore and ChangeNow means what exactly to Epic Cash. But before I do, I would just like to riff with you a little bit, and let's discuss with the peoples exactly how difficult it is to, in a community like ours that's all volunteers, to be able to take, when you have thousands of volunteers, to be able to identify opportunities and vet them. My gosh, to do that in our main chat, we would never get anything done. So I know that the people who have been asking a lot of questions, they come in and ask the questions, and it's almost like we've never asked those questions ourselves.
Why didn't we think of that?
Why didn't we think of that? And
what a great idea.
Right. And I'm not trying to be terse to anyone out there, but sometimes there's a bit of aggressiveness in the tone, and you don't give us enough credit that there, you guys know we have O zones, and there's an O6 zone that has, I think, like 17 folks who very, very, very smart, invested people in there. And that's really where, if there's a new opportunity to be brought to the table that's going to require any kind of epic fundraise, we vet it there first. We end up having, like, literally, I think you tell me, Max, but I think between Coinstore and ChangeNow, I bet as a collective group, when you think about the private Zoom calls that we've had with the different companies, the internal ones that we've had amongst ourselves, and engaging in the dedicated chats, I bet we have about 40 hours worth, I would almost say, with each one of these organizations.
Easy. And it's multiple people too. I mean, a lot of times there's 6, 8, 12 people on the conference call. And incidentally, anybody who thinks there's some secret, cabal or like skull and bones type of behind the scenes thing here going on, no, everybody's we do everything in the open. Anyone is welcome to be a part of anything, and we can always use more help. But what you see in the main chat, especially, or even some of the larger ones, like even ambassadors or DAO governance or any of those, is really just the tip of the iceberg, because we try to be respectful of our people's bandwidths that don't really have that in it 100% heart and soul, everything riding on it, like we do. So if you want to get more involved, definitely raise your hand. And we do everything in the open, but just out of courtesy, we try to preserve the bandwidth of the more casual people for whom Epic isn't their everything. And so my hope here today, and why I prepared this, is to hopefully cure the concerns and the negative pushback and the divergence of views about why this makes sense, by curing the deficit of information. Because once the people who are raising these concerns see what we see, then it becomes a very no-brainer. Oh, well, if you put it that way, of course we should do it. But we don't want to lose the beautiful hive mind that we have, and we don't need an echo chamber of yes men competing to nod and smile the most aggressively. We don't want to turn into Bitcoin Core 2.0.
Right.
So we kind of have our cake and eat it too, with a critical thinking community that's not afraid to say, hey, wait a minute, knucklehead, the emperor has no clothes. You guys are out of your mind, because sometimes somebody sees something that everyone else missed. Okay. But here, these are just such no-brainers that the case is clear.
And out of respect for you and the time that you've put into this, I see Sky King has asked 2 questions. Sky King, I wish those questions would have been asked in the chat earlier so that he could address those. But the fact that you're asking them here, let me just put them out there, Max, for you. And if they're answered somehow, great. If not, we can address them later. But how did FTX relationship affect Coinstore was one, and two is what is the difference between the two, and how does 3x investment in ChangeNow offer 3x value?
Oh, it's probably 10x.
Yeah.
But yeah, so put a pin in those, remind me at the end, and then we can touch on any points that aren't covered in here.
Okay.
And definitely feel free, anyone who's listening, to throw more questions. I want to make sure to get to everyone, even if we don't have enough time here, then I'll address them later and update the presentation.
Yeah, we can go over if we need to. I'm cool on the back.
All right, so let's rock.
Okay.
Great. So the investment case for Coinstore partnership, the ask is 20K. We need another 10K beyond that for liquidity requirements. That's more of just capital that's there, as long as it's not too leaky, which we don't know about that yet. But regardless, it's a very manageable bite. Bitmart was 50,000 plus. I think they wanted, I don't know how much.
30 more thousand in
30 more thousand. And that was just a cost. I mean, those guys just ripped our eyelids off. I mean,
they did. And by the way, I just want to be very clear. On the fundraise, we discussed 40 because we felt that the like with Bitmart, it was like shit happens and like what else? So I just want to be clear. Contractually, it's 20 plus 10 in liquidity. We have earmarked 10 for if we need more liquidity, and if not, that gets rolled into the ChangeNow raise. I just want to be very clear on that because I don't want people confused as to why we were talking 40 on the fundraise.
Yeah, and it's always good to have a little extra cushion. I mean, there's no shortage of shovel-ready things that will move the needle. For example, there's 16 articles ready to go, or we need to write the articles, but pretty much everything except the content to actually push out is done. It's kind of chicken and eggy, where you want to have your ducks in a row before screaming to the world that you exist, because otherwise you're wasting most of your marketing spend and you don't get a second chance at a first impression. So it's always better to have more than less, and nothing goes to waste. Our hard scrabble homespun garage origins keep us hungry and humble, and we don't have a culture of waste. I was shocked the other day to learn that after 13 years of operation and $25 billion down the drain invested by the smartest money VCs, Uber is still not a profitable company. I watched a documentary on WeWork, which managed to burn, I think, 10 billion with a business model of spending $2 to bring in $1. So I believe in old-fashioned capitalism, where you make more than you spend. So call me old-fashioned, but at least it's more sustainable that way. Right. All right. So basically, the way I see it is, and there's some more figures on this later, but right now our market cap is 6.5 million, and we topped out at 87 million back in December 2021. I'm actually just going to skip all the way down there so we can see it. Okay, so we were at 40 something, 50 cents, something like that in September 2021 when we announced the Bitmart listing, which was supposed to be December, and we had our absolute face meltingest run up. Those were some happy days. We traded 750K of legit volume one day on VTEX. I mean, the whole exchange of VTEX did 40 grand yesterday, but we did 750K on a single day. And what did we have then? We had no Epic Pay mobile wallet. We had no E3, so our software was hard to use, and most people just said, screw this is not for me. We didn't have GUI v3, v4, or now v5, so you don't have to open ports and all that stuff. We had less than half as many community members and contributors. We had 25 fewer countries with nodes and 700 fewer cities. So I think that on our next run, we could break very, very far beyond this, but let's just say that our scope is getting from here, where we are again, basically 40, 50 cents to back up here. So we've got $80 million of upside on the table. Now, what do we need for $80 million? How do we get there? The holder acquisition funnel starts with awareness, and then there's consideration, and then there's conversion. Down here, this is how our contributors get us more by spreading the word, paying for it forward, all the good stuff that that naturally happens. And what we want is our cylinder, our funnel, to be more like a cylinder. At every stage, we need to improve the ratio of people who make it to the next step. And so, if you think about it, all right, so here we're about to invest 6K into marketing with these 16 articles. Hold on, I got a cough.
Yep. Yes, cough a lot.
You are lucky that I hit the mute button in time. Oh my word, I have half my lung hanging out. All right, so 241 people a month hit Yahoo News, 240 million Yahoo Finance, 70 million on Market Watch, and so on. And our exegetes and hierophants are hard at work creating really snappy content to go in and feed this marketing machine. And what are people going to see when they find us, and how many of them are going to make it through? So if at every stage we take these walls out and we get a little more, we're investing in awareness, we're pouring water into the top of the funnel,
Yep.
And then we're getting more consideration, we're getting more conversion out of it. If we did the marketing ahead of time and our conversion was weaker, we would need to spend more on marketing to get the same net result of buyers. But if we make our efficiency greater, our conversion rate greater, then every additional dollar that we put into, or unit of labor effort that we put into awareness is paying off more. So these investments up front are really the gifts that keep on giving. All right, so
and can I just stop?
Yep.
So when you think about awareness, right? So those 16 articles should create a significant amount of awareness, of which with any good article, you need to have a call to action. Hopefully the call to action is, how do you buy or how do you acquire Epic Cash? And I think we learned from New to the Street with Mike Mamola, no matter where or what the audience is, if ultimately it takes 27 steps to be able to acquire an Epic, then your conversion is going to be pretty shitty, right? So awareness is great, but premature awareness before you're able to catch what's going to be thrown your way, that is a risk, right? And so to me, and I know you've got a whole presentation on it, but to me, Veet, once you get used to it, it's not that hard really. But guess what? If it becomes as easy as somebody downloading an Epic Pay wallet and not just seeing send, receive, but also buy, sell, swap, that takes away all the friction, right? To be able to convert and widen that funnel that's going down like this, turning that into a cylinder. So that's how my brain works. Now with ChangeNow, you'll educate me further on this, but I just want to let everyone know awareness is great, but if you can't convert it, it really does. All it is you're just pissing in the wind. Methinks.
Yeah, so we have this great website, call to action in these articles, buyepiccash.com, go here. Okay, so I'm a newbie. I don't have any crypto experience. Oh my God, I got to go to Coinbase. I have to buy BTC. I have to put 14 points of personal information. I have to turn my head and cough, make sure my prostate is healthy. Then I need to wait 2 weeks for them to send me the BTC. That's like a dozen more steps. It took over 3 hours to get somebody's BTC off of Coinbase. and into Veet the other day. Thank you, Ryan Comiskey. Now I need to go watch these videos, and I have to jump through 27 steps. And like the Veet software is great, but the little gray on gray sub microscopic icons are very difficult for normal people. So because our existing process flow is so difficult, we had to invest in all this documentation and all this how-to and stuff like that, versus let's see here, what are we going to get when this is live? Let me see here. Did I not put it in there? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing 1 second, and then I'm gonna show a glimpse of the future here. I got interrupted.
Hey, everyone in the chat, welcome to Epic Cash Wednesday.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks everybody for being here. Sorry I was late. I would have put this in there had I had a little more time, but yeah, better late than never. Okay. Okay, that's good enough for now. Here we go. Oops. Okay. Go back into slide share mode. Okay, so what we're gonna see, imagine two little extra extra sections down there.
Yep.
Buy and sell.
Okay. No swap.
Yep. Well, okay, hold on. Let me add one more thing. I'm gonna go off share for one moment.
Okay. So let's see. Got Mother Trucker. Speed greets Pool Boy. Starting to get some people in the chat. We're waiting on Max. I tell a joke, but the only one that came to mind is a dirty joke, and so we'll withhold that for now. You know what good comes from that, Uncle V. But anyway,
all right, here we go.
All right.
So yeah, just like in Stack, where you have those interfaces pop up, that's what we will have in Epic Pay.
Because of
ChangeNow.
Because of ChangeNow. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means we will have send, receive, buy, sell, and
swap.
And the question I have, if I tell my neighbor who doesn't know diddly squat about crypto, but knows that I have a gold chain with an Epic Cash coin on it, and he's intrigued, and I tell him to, hey, go download Epic Pay, and I'll send you a few coins to play with. Send me your receive address, and he does. And if he likes it, and he starts doing his own research, and he wants to buy, let's say, 500 coins, could he buy it with a credit card within our Pay wallet? How would that work?
So, I mean, just imagine this screen. I want to buy, instead of BTC, I want to buy Epic with US dollar.
What screen? I'm not seeing a screen.
Oh, I thought I was screen sharing. Give me 1 second here.
Nope.
Okay.
Just says Max.
All right, here we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, so there in the middle, I want to buy Epic. I want to pay with US dollars. Here's my address. And then it goes to a quote screen, and you fill in your credit or debit card information.
Wow.
Depending on the limits you or how much you want to do, you put in your KYC, and then you're good to go. I think it's within, I don't know, certainly within an hour, something like that. It's the very, very fast service, particularly compared to up to 2 weeks for Coinbase. So once you get your account set up, which there's a delay there as well.
Okay, so tell us about the KYC. So this is KYC.
Yeah, anything fiat, like just a word of caution. I had some guy, not to throw any under the bus, but I had a good laugh this morning saying that somebody told me that Trade Ogre was their favorite DEX.
Right.
And I'm like, why do you like it? Well, because of no KYC. I didn't want to put it in the presentation. I'm like, Trade Ogre is not exactly what it seems. Proceed with caution. Whether it's Berwick controlled or a Fed honeypot or both, you simply cannot operate a centralized exchange without KYC, certainly not for long. Actually, interestingly enough, okay, so warning, word to the wise. If you think you're being slick with trying to do stuff that would make you want to not have KYC where you are, and you're doing so through any kind of centralized service, then you probably should give up crypto and go be a farmer or something, because it's safer for you and likely going to be more profitable. There are no places to hide. The surveillance is perfect even before AI. Just forget about it. Nobody likes laws that are inconvenient for them, but it is what it is, and they have the guns, so just deal with it. But interestingly enough, within Coinstore, they do allow up to $2,000 a day without KYC, including US citizens. And it sounds crazy, huh? Singapore, they throw you in jail there for throwing gum on the sidewalk, right? Yes, absolutely. But also, Singapore knows that $2,000 a day of individual small-time guys trading crypto is not going to, I mean, it's a drop of mosquito piss in the ocean in the grand scheme of things.
Clarify that for me. So that means I could buy $2,000 a day?
No, you can withdraw. You can withdraw $2,000 a day worth of crypto to your ledger or whatever.
How much could I buy with no
unlimited?
KYC?
Well, you can buy unlimited with crypto and no KYC, but you can only withdraw up to $2,000 a day, no KYC. And if you want to do anything with fiat, so they have two integrations on there. Let me actually pull it up. Whoops, it's up here. Okay, so you can see here they have two providers plugged in. There's more coming, but right now they have Banxa and Mercurio. There's others out there. I don't know if they plan to integrate them, but there's Ramp, there's Simplex, there's Transact, there's Wire, there's probably a dozen or so Swipe Lux companies competing for that credit and debit card to buy crypto market. The reason that that's such a tricky space is if you buy with credit or debit, the customer has 180 days to do a chargeback. So let's say they buy some BTC at 23 grand, the market goes down to 12, and they're like, oh, I have buyer's remorse, fraud, whatever. Like there's no way to basically mitigate that. And the banking system is really hostile to crypto in general. So these people that are selling are taking a huge risk. You can see that in the spreads. Mercurio is charging $1.05 per tether, which 3% or 2.5% or whatever goes to the credit card. So that's actually a pretty good deal.
Right.
But Banxa is saying, well, this business is so risky. We need to charge you 34% premium. Right. Yeah. And so a lot of the pushback that we're getting as far as like, oh, this cost is too much, or, we don't need that or whatever, kind of assumes the position of, well, from my comfortable perch here in this like Western country with functional payment systems and rule of law and like lots of financial service options, the view from where you sit in Germany is very different than in Ghana, as an example. Or if you're even unbanked here in the US or underbanked, people are getting nickel and dime to death and corral fenced through the banking sector and their inability to access the tools that a lot of us take for granted. So above anything else, we need to look at this as an investment in infrastructure to support our growth. And even if only 2% of people use this, or 1%, the fact that it's there as an option for those 1% brings them into the network in a way that they otherwise wouldn't, and increases the value of everyone else by being inside. That's Reed's law and Metcalfe's law, which if you don't understand those, you really should, to get a sense of where this thing is going.
Okay, so why don't we go back, and you want to just kind of start at the top and
Yep.
go through here so that people can connect dots?
Yep. So we have an additional pool of, what do we get from Coinstore? Why would we spend 20 grand there? So we get an additional pool of ready-made buyers. Let me find that up, find that. Sorry, this got a little disjointed. So they had 52,000 net website visits in December, which is likely understated because they have multiple subdomains and stuff, and this is notoriously inaccurate. But there was at least 52,000 website visits in December, and I suspect that most of their action is probably coming through their app or APIs, because 52,000 website visits is not nearly enough to do their volume. So 100,000 app downloads, we can say, conservatively speaking, there's 100,000 new potential buyers that once we pop up, at least have the easy button to acquire us. Now they are going to get behind us with a bunch of marketing initiatives as well, sending out a notice on their app. I didn't have a time to get into this. Actually, you know what? Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me show you what they're going to give us in terms of marketing. Let me just stop screen share for a sec.
Being Angel's advocate here, Bitmart talked big too about marketing.
Yeah. Once bitten, twice shy. We live and we learn. Education is expensive. We certainly won't get burned in the same way that we did before. And also, we didn't have that in a written format with teeth as we do now. So we definitely get better with practice.
That's the other thing that people in the community should know. It's one thing to vet, and then it's like these partnership agreements, these contracts, are really weighty, right? And so it's like you want to get a pulse to see if the community wants this. They vote with their dollars, but then before you sign the agreement, they go to the Mike Mumolas, the Mike Puccinellis to be able to kick the tires and come back. And then there's negotiating that happens. But, just so that everyone knows, those proceeds have not, except for $6,000, which went to Coinstore to be able to lock in your keynote speaker position, which is a big deal. Nothing else has been sent, because we are we're going back and forth on some small contract points, and so it's a process. It's a giant process, but you don't get to where you want to go without taking that first step, and the second one, and the third one. And that's what I just want people to know, is when we talk about how many man hours, woman hours have been put into this, I mean, it's been a lot. And look, we're all community members too. We aren't waking up in the morning saying, "Hey, how can I waste, the $5 grand I put in this?" I mean, I lost a lot of money at Bitmart, but I'm not licking my wounds. Education is expensive,
Yeah. So the other reason that we're I don't want to say slow rolling a little this, but definitely taking our time to get the most out of it, is that they're really keen on co-marketing. So they have this series called Insights on their YouTube channel, where they're going to discuss Epic in at least 3 of those over the next 3 months, collaborating on research reports, which basically we'll write and they'll publish, talking about non-fungibility, scalability, e-waste, all the stuff where we shine, third-party validation, our marketing spiels coming from them as an independent third party. Sounds a lot better than us tooting our own horn. Also, we threw a bit of a bone, the minimum exposure level for trillions, just basically, imagine like the smallest unit of attention that is there, 1 second or whatever, in trillions. we said, okay, we'll, happily throw you on the screen for, a millisecond or whatever that turns out to be. So we're both looking for ways to help each other. They offered a keynote slot at their Crypt Talk event, which is going to get around 80. They said maybe as many as 120, but definitely 80 confirmed in-person attendees in Indonesia on the 18th. Schedule's a little tight, so maybe that won't happen, but if not, we'll get the next one. And they also expect about 10 to 20,000 live streamers or live stream audiences. So let's chop a zero off of those and say it's only 1,000. That's still pretty good, and we'll get some content that we can make cuts and clips out of and so on. They also have 120 biz dev reps, where they have people on the ground in countries where we are weak. India is a big market, Vietnam, Indonesia. These are places where we have almost complete zero coverage. So to get their 120 local representatives in our boat can definitely help.
And by the way,
Anyway,
we will be, of their 53 assets or whatever that they have, we'll be the only privacy coin. Yes.
mm-hmm. And there was a question about Singapore being hostile to privacy, and they're actually not. Korea and Japan are, but Singapore is very open. And the reason is they have controls at other points in the stack, so they don't need to patch up their ship by overreacting on privacy tech, as some of the more slower moving and less efficient bureaucracies. Singapore is one of the best. If you have to have a government, they're probably one of the least bad ones to deal with. And they have their priorities, but they're really trying to be a home for fintech. A question that came up was why doesn't Coinstore offer services to Singapore residents? That sounds like a red flag to me. And actually, no, it sounds like a brilliant strategy, because we asked that question too, and they had a ready-made answer, which is that the hurdle rate of license that you need to have and the compliance burdens and all that stuff. Singapore is a tiny market, and to protect their banking industry, you have to do like 10 times more reports and licenses and stuff like that. They said they're going to do it when it makes business sense, but right now, I mean, there's billions of people that they can serve without having to do that, and the business economics are much better. So I actually quite like that answer.
What about one of our community members tried to sign up, and it said that US is restricted from doing business with them?
Yeah, because they tried to KYC, and it won't let them KYC, but you can do up to $2,000 a day. We verified that in the chat.
Okay, but let's not confuse people, because I just asked that question. $2,000 a day, non-KYC, but you said you could buy more than that.
You can withdraw $2,000 a day.
Yeah. So let's just be clear on that, because if somebody wants to buy, let's say, $10,000 worth of Epic through their exchange,
you wouldn't be able to withdraw it. You'd have to withdraw it 5 days, $2,000 a day.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to get it to their Epic Pay wallet, it would take them 5 days to be able to do that, $2,000 at a time, right?
Well, actually, yes and no. I mean, let's say we go for a rocket ship ride like we did in December of 2021, and all of a sudden your $10,000 is now 100, and you're trying to dribble it out over 2 months. Yeah, I know people that lost huge amounts of money where they couldn't get their money out, and then the value deflated. I mean, not that we're going to fall apart like a lot of this nonsense, but
no, but I think
things have happened.
We always preach about it, but if somebody would buy, let's say, $10,000 worth of Epic, I think being a good steward is not your keys, not your coins. You
absolutely
get them off into your Epic or Epic Pay or GUI wallet as quickly as possible.
Yep, absolutely. And even the strongest exchanges have a way of going bust. So I don't know about any specific exposure between Coinstore and FTX. I would imagine it's zero, because it's not Coinstore's business model to put assets out on other exchanges. So it's not like a Three Arrows Capital or Multicoin or Alameda or one of those type of deals. But bad things happen. And so not your keys, not your coins. You should view these exchanges, even the decentralized ones, as very temporary. Take a conscious risk with eyes wide open to realize that, okay, this thing could blow up while it's in motion, but as long as I take steps to get it off reasonably soon, then it's unlikely to happen in this particular moment. Absolutely. People lost a lot of money leaving coins on Cytec thinking it was okay. And they lost another 100,000 coins leaving them on ice mining, thinking it's okay. And so really, absolutely never, never leave your keys on an exchange if they're worth it. If it's important enough to own them, it's important enough to protect them.
That's right. Okay, let's go through
All
this.
right.
Improve holder growth, higher close rates.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And then this one's also important. So enhanced optics for casual searchers. So the level of product knowledge or ability of most market participants to discern quality is poor. You may have seen a review article or a video that somebody did about a year, maybe 18 months ago or so. And I was surprised the guy had even a few thousand subs. And he was running through the BSC token from the Fast Epic mining pool and saying, oh, this thing's a complete piece of garbage. Look how there's only 130 holders. And, they say it's a coin, but really it's a token here on BSC. Ha ha ha. On to the next. And unfortunately, that's the reality. So
Right.
when we're right now rank 1100. So as people are scrolling through CoinGecko, they've gone through 900 or 90 pages of garbage to find us. And if they spend 30 seconds per coin, they've spent a huge chunk of their life going through garbage after garbage. And so you get here, we know VTEX is great and it's a DEX, so it's not really apples to apples with this other stuff. But what does that casual searcher see that's deciding whether to invest another 30 seconds or 2 minutes checking us out or move on to the next? It's an exchange I've never heard of that has a 0 trust score. And then I go check it out, and the top pairs are things I've never heard of, like Vita Inu. Are you kidding me? I'm sure it's a great coin, but that sounds pretty unserious. And the whole volume of the thing is only 40 grand a day. Or, I may have never heard of it, but 8 is pretty good. And 150 million a day in daily volume, I should be able to get my $1,000 order filled. So let me spend 2 more minutes and research this coin. So again, back to that funnel, we lose them before we get the chance to tell them why we're so awesome, or we get that additional consideration.
And by the way, I did the math. That's 550 hours. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
At 30 seconds times 11. I think that's right. I may have that wrong. I don't know.
500, that's 550 minutes. And so that would be,
okay.
That'd be like 9 hours. No,
okay. Yeah, that's better.
I don't know. I'm on cold medicine, so I reserve the right to be bad at math today. But anyway, now also, I think this 151, we can lop a 0 off of that. Let's assume 90% is wash trading and BS and not real, but that's still 15 million a day, and so what does that so what does that mean? We also get an infrastructure boost to 58 more assets. So right now today, if you have Polkadot and you want to get Epic, you got to sell your Polkadot for BTC, convert and then withdraw the BTC to VTEX, jump through a bunch of different hoops, convert it from your your exchange wallet or your main wallet to your trading wallet or whatever, and then buy it and then get it back, and it's just way too many steps. So they've got 59 assets today, but they claim to have a few dozen more coming in the next couple of quarters. So this opens up our ability to do co-marketing to those different communities.
To be clear, though, the person would still have to convert their Polkadot to BTC because our trading pair is going to be Epic BTC. Okay.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have to use you could just, here's the key. You would deposit your Polkadot to your Coinstore account versus selling it on, let's say,
Right.
Coinbase to BTC, and then spending like $2.30 to move, or probably more like $5 or $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, BTC, like it's just really expensive and slow for people to move
Right.
value into our world because BTC is that bottleneck.
Good point.
All right, so we get enhanced optics for casual scanners. And then we get another non-KYC crypto to crypto exchange option. So we have VTEX, which is non-KYC. And now, as long as you're doing less than $2,000 a day in withdrawals, you have another exchange option. So we get a better crypto to crypto coverage. We also get a fiat on-ramp in the form of their connections to Banxa and Mercury O. I don't know any specific plans, but I'm sure that they're going to add more of those acquirers, as they're called,
So that
onto
would mean,
their platform.
Just to be clear, that would mean if I sent my neighbor, I know what would happen within the Epic Pay wallet, but if I sent him to Coinstore.com, they would be able to use their credit card to be able to on-ramp to be able to buy Epic. Okay.
Correct. And the reason that's important is because sometimes there's weird error messages. I tried to buy crypto with like 24 cards. And this was years ago before it got even more impossible. And it was just all kinds of weird error messages and call the bank and denied. And I couldn't get it to work. And I tried pretty much everything out there. So having additional options and redundancies and being able to route around challenges is very important. So we get a better on-ramp because you can have a one-hop connection to 58 assets. But we also get an off-ramp to USDT improved quite a bit, which is very important. So that's crypto on. Okay, so a lot of miners. Now miners' job is to mine, not to hold. Some miners do hold, and that's great, but the people view mining as a way to pay the bills. And they overwhelmingly use Tether for that purpose. I saw a video the other day, how to convert Epic to Nigerian Naira over Tether using Binance P2P exchange. People in Egypt are using Tether to pay their bills after mining Epic. Russia, I mean, I've seen all these use cases pop up in the chats. And so if you go to sell $1,000 of Tether on VTEX, you're going to push the price 20%.
Right.
So do you really want to sell your coins for 20% less or pay a premium of 20%? No, that's ridiculous. Plus, I think they only handle one or two forms like ERC20 and Binance, something like that. They don't handle all of them. Whereas this is the top is Coinstore. I don't know which flavors of Tether they do. I didn't get that far, but the bottom is ChangeNow. This is really interesting. You can do Tether on Avalanche, Algorand, BSC, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, and Tezos. That's really, really big.
Yeah.
Because the fiat connections into Tether or into Tron are different than in BSC and different than in Polygon. And so if you don't have that particular link into your region and your use case and your way of doing it, then it might as well not exist for you. So again, we're back to the story of this is key infrastructure for our growth. All the new people that find us are going to have their specific needs. And if they can go online to the help desk and say, hey, I'm in Senegal and I need to do this, the answer is more likely to be yes than what it is so often now, which is no, or you can't do that yet. You just have to wait.
Right. Okay.
All right. So then, and we're gonna have to hustle through because I'm gonna pay the price for this and sort through it tomorrow or even later today. So the investment case for ChangeNow. Now we're calling this 100K. They're only charging 60 for the integration. We put another 40 of liquidity on top that can actually be shared with Coinstore.
Time out before we go from Coinstore. The one thing about Bitmart that sucked ass is the market maker. And when they were just doing that trading back to keep things tight, they were skimming a little off of it. And I remember within 13 days, the 30 grand went down to 20 grand. And they said, you gotta put more gas in it for us. And that's when we said, nah, no, delist us. But please educate everybody about how we have Johnny on our team and what Johnny is going to be our market making.
Yeah. So at the last minute, I mean, just to call a spade, Bitmart was basically fraud. I mean, if it were bigger money, like, and I were a more litigious sort, and didn't have anything better to do, I would have sued them and we would have won. Just blatant, misrepresentation. I was really shocked. So they sprung it on us at the last minute. We asked upfront, we were like, hey, we don't want to do any of this artificial BS that all these other coins do. We want an organic market. Is it okay? Yes. And then at the last minute, they're like, oh no, you need a market maker, and it's three grand a month. Yeah, and we already had reputational capital invested of people saying that or knowing that this is what we were going to do, and we really would have really had egg on our face to go and rug pull at the last minute. And so we just kind of had to hold our nose and accept it. So they said, you have to use our buddies over here as a market maker, 3 grand a month. They were completely incompetent, and they asked for a bunch of money and said, oh, it's going to be market neutral and 0 fee and this and that. And I don't know if they didn't know how to program a bot or what, or they were skimming, but basically they're like, oh, the money's gone now, put some more in, or we're going to
totally drove it drove the price of Epic down too during that.
Yeah. It was just, I mean, and you could see VTEX had one trading pattern and theirs was completely another. It reminds me of the fake like ghost trading on Cytex. Every once in a while, somebody will still pop in the chat. Hey, I just bought a bunch of Epic for 7 cents on Cytex. Sorry, buddy. No. Yeah.
You should have joined the Uncle Digital Update channel a couple of years ago.
Education is expensive.
Okay, let's talk Johnny.
Yeah. Okay. So Johnny, so Johnny can program bots in his
Who is Johnny?
in his
Who
sleep.
is Johnny, for those who may not know?
Yeah, so Johnny is the CEO of Exitus, which is the cross-chain protocol interoperability layer, formerly known as EXPL. Currently, the ticker is EXUS. He's working with Becky Boo. He's raising $10 million to connect the Epic chain to other chains. If you're familiar with projects such as Axelar, which raised 65 million at a 1 billion valuation, or Connext, which raised 15 million at an 80 million valuation, or Layer Zero, which got $1 billion from Andreessen Horowitz, or Ren, which raised 36 million in 2018, or WanChain, which was, I think, 36 million also in 2018. All of those are names out of about 3 dozen that are competing for the interoperability cross-chain market. And Mimblewimble is unique because of interactive transactions and privacy and a whole bunch of other cutting edge stuff. So it's going to be a 6 to 9 month build, but what that ends up getting us is a permissionless, completely decentralized, completely unhackable and unbreakable, absolute best. It's called SMPC, Secure Multi-Party Computation, key sharding tech in the market, where people will be able to wrap their Epic into E1 tokens and have them float around on Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, Polkadot, basically every blockchain that's worth supporting out there. People will be able to go and swap and farm and lend and DeFi and do all this stuff in a way where you don't have to trust anybody. You don't have to give up custody of your keys. It's completely decentralized and robust.
All of that just speaks to his bona fides, that the dude is smart. And if Ben Freeman, you know that, and he's the one who said, I will figure out the bot to where there's no melting ice cube, right? Or the API or whatever you call it.
Yeah, it's child's play for a guy like that. So we're lucky to have him. And that's the way he can add value. Now the other thing is that in an organic market, as we grow, there will be no need for anybody to do anything, because independent market actors will set these types of things up, not as a community service, but as a for-profit thing. I mean, if the price is 11 cents over here and 12 cents over there, you can arbitrage those and make a fortune. So that's Johnny's world. We've just been too small to attract that kind of talent and investment, but there are many, not many, I shouldn't exaggerate. There are at least 3 different sets of people that I know are actively engaged in getting bots and stuff set up. I know because I've been, helping them here's the lay of the land, here's what you do, here's the challenges, stuff like that. We won't need to do anything a year from now.
Okay, great.
All right. So then I pulled together all of the concerns, and we'll run through them real quickly. So why don't we do our technology first? Everything that can be done is and always will be. Money is usually not the limiting factor on this type of stuff. Sometimes it's talent, sometimes it's dependencies, various external blockers. So we're never going to skimp on tech, and we're never going to not do any tech because there's other stuff to pay for. These are both and propositions, not either or. And if you have a scarcity mindset, and self-imposed limits in your thinking, then you probably need an attitude, check, because we have infinite potential here. So we covered this already. ChangeNow, 60K versus 20K. I believe we've got 14,000 extra. What we need already. Actually, no. Uncle, with the shared liquidity, it's probably 24,000 extra. So we're only 36 away from a complete commitment. They're willing to start for 20. So if somebody's out there and says, hey, this sounds pretty good, I'm in for $1,000 or $500 or 10K or whatever, they're comfortable to give us 30 or 45 days of credit, and take only the 20K to get started, which I think is a no-brainer, and we absolutely should. But it would be great to have a more firm commitment so we don't have egg on our face and we're not scrambling at the last minute to go raise resources.
Right.
Low liquidity scares away buyers. Well, I have a great idea. Let's just, not do things that enhance our volume and liquidity. Let's stay small. So, all right. And then why don't we spend the money on marketing instead? We covered this already. We're improving our funnel, and also everything that we do becomes higher yield as we have more options in place for servicing the demand that does come in.
And by the way, everyone, please come watch Friday's Epic Cash live stream, because we're going to have Bassam, who is what is his title over there?
Head of business development.
Head of biz dev, and he is just awesome. I can't wait for you all to meet him. But he's going to come on the show and explain everything ChangeNow to us, and I can't wait. If you're not excited after that live stream, I don't know. I'm so proud of this community for how everybody rallied after last Friday live stream. Max, it would just make my day if everybody became, I think we have 30 total contributors. And keep in mind, when you contribute $1, you get 2 EUSDs back, or EIOUs back, and 1 ECR. So it's not philanthropy. There's a big what's in it for you as well. But I think that message really got through, because there was one person in particular that was like, oh, I get it. Okay. He ponied up a considerable amount. Thank you very much. You know who you are. But after Friday, anybody who wants to get in on this contribution party and be part of, let's take that list from 30 to 50 to 60 to 100, for crying out loud. I mean, $10, $100, $50, please reach out to El McMurphy, and he'll set you up.
And I don't want to put a bird on the fence or promise anything explicit, but let's just say You know, or you should know that we've been working for months and months, very hard, getting closer to pushing ECR out the door. And it's still a very open question as far as how the largesse gets sprinkled around as we do an evaluation of who put their oar in the water to help get us here. And so, you know, do you want to position yourself favorably to be seen as a contributor and a team player and somebody that's a giver as well as a taker? Or do you want to be in that free rider category of people that are just win moon, win pump, sitting around taking up space, not doing anything? This is a great opportunity, even if it's $10 to get your name on that list and be seen in a new light by your peers, because ECR is going to change the game as we have a new tool to incentivize participation, and you definitely want to get ahead of that.
That's right. So L McMurphy in Telegram, if you DM him or reach out to him and just in any of the chats and just say, hey, I would like to support. Let's just combine it together. This is Coinstore /ChangeNow. I really think, Max, before, I mean, shoot, maybe by next Epic Cash Friday, maybe both are funded and we're rocking and rolling.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And as we develop this muscle memory, I got to tell you, there's dozens and dozens of shovel-ready investments. We've been working on some really, really big deals that the bigger the deal, the longer they take. And we've been doing a lot of advanced planning on, okay, when we do have resources come in, how are we going to put that power down to the road? And there's a lot of things that are kind of tuck-in opportunities here and there that we can do in the meantime to move the needle. I think everybody's going to be feeling a lot more generous at 685 or a new all-time high than today, because I bought coins at $5 and I've held them for a year and now I feel like a knucklehead, and you know, maybe my wife was right, versus, hey, look how smart I am. The rest of the market fell apart and we're up. So
and by the way, with all of these external meetings that we're having with the big money, you know, that like literally is going to build our entire ecosystem. Not if, but when this is finalized, the very first thing that's going to be satisfied are the EIOUs, and that is a commitment you made, Max.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, and so the use of funds, that's literally number one. To take care of those who are helping us in these lean times as community members to raise the money necessary for these great new partnerships.
Absolutely. So this is the number one thing that people are asking by far. It's pretty much every day, multiple times, which is how to buy with fiat. So, you know, that's the other thing about what we're doing is that if you only look, the drunk that's looking under the light post to find his keys, why are you looking there? Because that's where the light is. If you're only looking at, you know, mining or development or, you know, art or whatever your thing is, and you're not seeing all the rest, then it's easy to form certain opinions. But I know that this is the number one thing that people are asking for. And also there was a misunderstanding here that it's only for a mobile wallet, when no, there's I believe over 1,000 partners connected to ChangeNow. Some of them are listed there, like Atomic Wallet and Cake and Edge and all that type of stuff. But basically anybody that ChangeNow ever connects to will have any user of their service, like Trezor in 2024 will offer Epic for sale with ChangeNow, and they're not today. Yeah, imagine millions to tens of millions of additional people that can buy like the first day. Not saying they will. We have the awareness challenge and the consideration and getting them over the hump, but at least they have the capacity to, since they already have the app or the account or the whatever. And as they grow, we grow. So this is really a force multiplier.
Yeah, and it basically the way I view it is we are just, you know, they say get the spectators off the field. How about a new one? get the friction off the field. There's
Mhm.
so much friction in acquiring Epic, and these are two very important strategic partnerships to eliminate that said friction. Yes,
and be able to get your value out. So being able to off ramp to fiat. Nobody wants to sell today, or at least most people don't. But increasingly, that will be something that people want to do. We should support them in that, off ramping to Tether, to local fiat to pay the bills.
yep.
And also diversifying into other cryptos. Let's say Epic goes to the moon and you want to diversify. Okay, well, your only option on VTEX is BTC, whereas you could spread it around with other stuff through these other sources. I don't know the specific number, but I believe ChangeNow supports, I want to say 300 crypto assets, something like that. So we get connections from, instead of just one or two on Vite right now, to 300.
Just got a let's see, somebody in the chat. Edmund, please, Max, or anyone on our team, I suggest Mike Momola try to contact Scott Menard and invite him on DNA of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that sounds great. Anyone in the OR guild, the outreach guild, that wants to take that on, that would certainly be wonderful.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So close the door to two major countries in the world. China's blocked, yes. China is a hostile no-go zone for crypto, so they're being smart. And as we resolved, it's USA is open, just only 2K a day in withdrawals.
And tell everybody why on a private call that a group of us had, Jonathan, who's very, very wise and smart, why he said that he thinks that is a feature, not a bug for the United States.
Yeah, US is a very hostile place for crypto. Coinbase is in multiple active lawsuits with various arms of the US government. Gemini is being sued, Digital Currency Group. I mean, post FTX, I mean, you say crypto, it's like you might as well be Osama bin Laden. And so there's about I think what 80% of the global crypto market is non-US, 90, something like that. Certainly most of the growth.
Who's not buying crypto anymore? Scott Menard. I'm not making light of this, but somebody, Crypto Star Daily, shout out. He said he died January 13th. So
Scott, okay.
Well, yeah. No DNA of Bitcoin.
I'll host a seance.
Okay.
All right. So you know who you are out there. I won't embarrass you by mentioning it, but Trade Ogre is not a DEX, and it's also not what it seems. And it's also a really bad idea to trade there, because I posted a note from Gemini, but I couldn't find the Trade Ogre one. It's up on some of our presentations. But basically, if you deposit coins from Trade Ogre to a centralized exchange service, which is pretty much everything these days, even decentralized stuff often opts into risk screenings and stuff like that. A lot of the fake decentralized A16Z type VC stuff, you're risking getting your account shut down. It is simply impossible to operate a centralized exchange and remain in business unless it's some kind of protected honeypot type of catch all the bad guys. Isn't it suspicious that Trade Ogre does only privacy coins, and the only one that they don't have on there is the legit, pure, honest one, which is us. So do yourself a favor and don't create problems for yourself.
A crypto vigilant. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So if you don't want headache for yourself, you don't want to risk your money, don't.
But also, if you think about, you just nailed it, that let's say US is 10% of crypto action. where what impressed me when we were on our calls with Coinstore is their focus on India. Why is India important, Max?
So India has 1.1 billion people. And even though its penetration is only 2 point something percent, there's 27 million crypto owners already. Um, Indians are tech savvy. They have smartphones, they have data networks, mobile telephony, even if they don't have running water, that type of stuff. It's a growing economy. There's over 100 different languages there, so it's also very difficult for others to access. Shout out to Raman Pandwar and his team, which continues to do a great job. I believe we've got 11 or maybe 13, maybe even more than that now, languages covered, all the way from Assamese to I can't remember what the one at the end is. Tamil and Telugu. Those are the ones at the end. Oh, and Urdu. I'm always learning about new Indian languages as they pop up on epicentral.io. So we're skating ahead of the puck in terms of content creation and translating our wallet software and our guides and having people make videos and stuff, so that when we do get the pipes laid to India, that we are there to serve them in the right kind of way. So yeah, Coinstore is really complementary geographically because they're strong where we have just almost nothing. We have nothing in Indonesia, nothing in Vietnam, very, very little versus the potential in Philippines, as an example. So we just hit the ground running in these places.
Max, I want to address someone in the chat, Johannes Hahn, and I'm sorry, Johannes, but this is the type comment that frustrates me. It may not frustrate Max, but you say, Max, next time before we start funding, we should this type of information first and not after. And this, what drives me crazy is there so much goes into this before it's even introduced on my show. And when we did introduce it, it was to introduce the two people from Coinstore and lay everything out. But then questions start coming in. Now, a lot of those questions are, we ask them as well, but at some level there, I would hope that the community would trust the slow boil that we do to be able to even introduce this stuff for you. So Max, how do you address that? Because I got to tell you, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's so many people out there that take these shots and they Monday morning quarterback of what we should or shouldn't have done. If we wait for the entire community to rally behind everything, we'll never get anything done. We presented and you guys voted. You voted with your pocketbooks, and thank you to those 30 of you. But if you weren't one of them, then please don't tell us what we should or shouldn't have done. Now, I respectfully accept the question and I hear you, but just understand, if it was so easy, it's hard to please everybody. I don't know, Max. I'm frustrated.
Well, no, I mean, in this case, Johannes is pool boy, so there's nobody that has done more, for our network and supporting our growth over the many years than him. So
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Well, but it kind of also doesn't matter, like.
Okay, but I'm just going to shout out Pool Boy is like legend. So I had no idea, Pool Boy, but you got my raw feedback from that question, right? So I'm glad that you weren't in there as Pool Boy, so I could not filter, because I'm like, yeah, I know he's a legend. I mean,
well, it took many hours to pull together this presentation, and time is finite, and there are other things to do. Let's say that we had invested all this energy to do a massive presentation and then discovered that we didn't need to get the objective achieved. That would have been a waste. And even though we did raise the money already, I mean, part of this is talking about ChangeNow and the investment case, but so we see certain certain people engaging in the chats and how they are engaged with, as far as like, okay, I hear you say that that you don't want this, but we're doing it anyway. Well, then thousands of people that are kind of passive spectators see, oh, okay, I guess this is a place where people don't, it doesn't matter, I shouldn't even voice my opinion because these guys are just going to do whatever they want anyway. I guess this is a Vitalik and Joe Lubin type of production over here, or it's like Blockstream, where it doesn't matter. It pretends to be open, but really it's just, we're going to have decentralization theater and do whatever we want. So it's important to to be genuine and thoughtful in how we engage. And so it's definitely a balance between a number of hours in the day and number of good things that could be done. And I think at the end of the day, a certain amount of trust is called for. We are in a trustless, or certainly trust minimized context, and nobody wants to depend on third parties. But it's been over 3 years now where we've been making the right choices. Yeah, we've had some bumps in the road and taken some lumps along the way, but overall we're doing a pretty darn good job, and we keep getting better. So even if you don't fully understand all the whys and wherefores and how a decision was come to, it's not like we're running with like chickens with our heads cut off, ready, fire, aim, and just doing a bunch of dumb stuff. No, we're very cautious, we're very thoughtful, we're very deliberate. And so maybe just before going off half-cocked in the comments, oh, you idiots, what about this? Just respect and recognize that a lot that goes into it. And if you're not at the table, you're not contributing, you're not there like doing it, then like maybe you should just like spectate and do some more homework. Because we have a lot of solid talent and quality people that do know what they're doing, that have the interest the same as you, because at the end of the day, we all are motivated by the same forces. When Epic goes up, we win, and we have a better economic standing in life.
Yeah, and my frustration is people are acting or commenting like like they didn't have a say in this. All I did was Friday have these two gentlemen on from Coinstore to make an appeal to the community. And guess what? The community responded. Now, it was so successful. We have ChangeNow that to me is like a huge game changer. I know there's someone in the comments that's saying, I just fund for Coinstore. Great, fantastic, great. We succeeded, but now we're talking about ChangeNow. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to have them on Friday to be able to speak to the community. Is there going to be people on Monday saying, well, Max should have done another full presentation on this? I mean, it's like, folks, I'm a volunteer too. And by the way, I don't ever ask anybody to do or contribute to anything that I'm not willing to step up to. Do you know how many projects there are that you never see the light of day that we have vetted that didn't make it? Think about those. So it's not like my every Wednesday and every Friday is dedicated to the next shiny object. No. I mean, these are just two that happen to coincide at the same time that I think can like move mountains for Epic Cash. But you all know I have my show notes. Go to the very bottom and there's a disclaimer in there telling you I don't know shit. So, all right, Max, I'm done ranting.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm confident saying that the change. I don't know the relative magnitude of either of them, so I wouldn't want to try and parse it out. But if we do both of these, then we should certainly expect that breaking through our all-time high over the next couple of quarters, if not quite a bit sooner, is absolutely within reach. And I think the skids are greased. The next stop up from there, I mean, the bigger we get, the bigger we can get.
Yeah.
Pirate Chain used to be 2.4 billion, and now it's what, under 100 million, something like that. So, in a lot of people's minds, another sufficiently decentralized and private alternative form of money. A lot of people believed the pirate chain story 18 months ago or 12 months ago, that now kind of have to face reality and go, oh, I guess it was a pump and dump after
Yeah,
all. What do
right.
I do now? But that's still $100 million of market cap or whatever. That's totally blue
Yeah.
ocean for us. There's $2 billion of market cap riding on Zcash. People that don't really know that Zcash is not a privacy coin, and it's not what it appears to be and never will be. But yet there's $2 billion of marketing. I mean, DCG was a big part of that. Let's see what happens when that's not there to pump it anymore. And the truth comes out, which it will. So next
By the way,
up is
Crypto Star Daily's in the chat. Love you, Crypto Star Daily. He said he's where's the one? ChangeNow is a game changer. I've used it a bunch, and he just said Coinstore did $153 million in volume in the last 24 hours. So, we're this is not insignificant.
Yeah.
40,000.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think if it says 153, it's probably more like 15, but even that is quite a bit more than VTEX. It's not just the quantity, but also the quality because of the different ramps and rails that are in there. So it's not just bigger, but it's also better. But in terms of what to expect from here, so Zcash is $2 billion market cap. Monero is $3 billion. Then up from there, you've got Litecoin, and I think is still $6 to $8 billion, something like that. If you do the math on, okay, what is the value of Epic when we match Monero market cap? That's almost $200.
Right.
So you have $1,000 worth of coins today, and now all of a sudden you have what is that? 400 grand off of $1,000. Where, I mean, what are we talking? Lottery tickets here? It's not like they expire worthless. The ability of the Epic blockchain protocol to handle payments, to store people's financial data, to resist quantum threats, and be energy efficient, and in future versions handle NFTs and fungible tokens, and do all kinds of amazing stuff is latent in there. Yeah, basically each coin is like a seed. It really is. Sure, you can eat your seeds and you can sell your seeds, but you might want to let them grow and turn into crops that then produce income for you. So we're really at the beginning of the journey, and the hard part is mostly done. I've been increasingly confident for a long time that we are a lot closer to being on top than people think. Not the least of which is we have a halving in what is it, 3 months, something like that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So today there's 5,760 coins hitting the market through the mining every day. That gets cut to 2,880 from then. Also, as the staking programs and things like the ability to create EUSD and wrap it into E1 and stuff, all those things are going to absorb supply and take it off the market. Our supply is only 15.6 or 15.7 million. And there's almost 50 million BTC outstanding when you include the paper claims.
I'm going to lead the witness here because I know the answer and you do too, but I'm just going to ask it in a gray. Let me exploit the ambiguity of the gray. How about that? So, are there any people out there who recognize what Epic Cash is and can do, has reviewed our roadmap, and they understand that really we might be the only way that moving value privately could even possibly occur in the very near future, and are willing to give us the seat at the table to be able to have conversations on what that might look like. But like seriously, so when you talk about Epic as a seed, Epic is required to move value privately all around the world in some people's eyes. Is that gray enough for you?
Yeah. I mean, if anybody wants more detail, hit up Ryan Comiskey and execute a non-disclosure agreement, and then we can tell a little bit more. But basically, there's an outfit that has $500 billion in assets that is really getting caught up with the CBDC and capital controls, being able to move money between the different arms of their far-flung empire. Nothing nefarious. This is just basic, bread and butter of the global economy type of stuff. Products move from here to there, and investments go from here to there, and there's just all this friction and barriers that's been put up. And so they said, we've got a need to move between 50 million and 50 billion multiple times a month. If you can build this service that we need, and I know we can, then we're willing to basically fund the build out, and give you a whole bunch of I don't want to call it free money, but essentially it is. And so shout out to those of you working on it. You know who you are.
Yep.
That's been in motion for a good 3 months now, and as we get closer and closer, I'm like, wow, pinch me. Maybe it is real. Because BTC is only useful as a wealth storage device, as an alternative for gold, but Epic, or as a form of money, let's say, but Epic is a better form of money, but it's sure as hell a better form of currency. Yeah, and that's even before EUSD and EMPL come in to complete the picture. So it's been a slow road, and there's still a lot of learning curve and a lot of fear there for people from the old world to understand what's coming. But increasingly, those with the best capacity to discern the unique benefit of what we've created are saying, holy smokes, how do I partner up with you guys? So there's a lot of big things in motion right now.
Yes, sir. You're sick, and I didn't realize 1:30, and I have a 1:30 Zoom call I got to hop on. So I'm going to have to love everyone and leave you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm trying to find my mouse. Gosh, this is what a great way to end the show, because I don't even know how I can stop the recording. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, now I got my mouse on the end button. There we go. Sorry about that. But I hope you enjoyed today, everybody. And I can't wait to see you on Friday, where we're going to have the ChangeNow head of biz dev worldwide on the show to be able to further educate us. And I hope everybody visits, gets excited about it, sees the future. And what Max just said about, building out the rest of our ecosystem, just understand, guys, there's so much that never makes these shows, but there are so many great volunteers behind the scenes who are actively working for your bags to be able to improve, and our bags as well. So we're all on the same team. Thank you. We invite you, as always, to please visit t.me/Epic Cash. Say hello, but maybe more than just a little hello, because how many bots do we need that just say hello? But tell us a little bit about yourself and any interests you have, and we might be able to direct you where you can put your own oar in the water and start rowing, because we love wet oars. Okay, Max, thank you so much. Please get better. And everybody in the chats, thank you. And